Hello, our truth warriors. Today's guest is key in my life to helping me plan ahead. He makes me laugh. He also makes me cry with his truthful accuracy of what we are facing. He is unique in a world which many try to copy. Often imitated, never duplicated. And it is said that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Let me tell everyone now, nothing can touch this gentleman's work in terms of accuracy in predictions. Now, today, we will probably use strong language, so anybody sensitive to this should fuck off right now. If not, stay and become more empowered by the information the one and only Gerald Celente can give. Hello, sir. How are you? And welcome to the Atlantic Underground podcast.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for that introduction. It's very kind of you.
No, it's well-deserved, very well-deserved. I'm going to jump in with something that I seen yesterday. On the 22nd of August upcoming, the BRICS nations will decide on a digital trading currency backed by gold. Now, they will look to offer bonds for this and eventually gold-backed currency for the people. Now, many countries are looking to become part of the BRICS, which will then be called the BRICS Plus Group. At this point, will it become the leader in the global currencies moving forward?
Oh, absolutely. It's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. It can happen overnight. People say, I'm a futurist. I'm not a futurist. Nobody can predict the future. There are too many wild cards. So let's throw a wild card on the deck. Saudi Arabia and OPEC Plus says, we're taking no more petrodollar. We don't want it anymore. No more, it's gone. Boom, that brings down the dollar like that, ends it. So there's the wild cards that could be played. But when you look at the whole situation right now, the dollar is still the dominant currency that's being used. And when you look at the Chinese yuan, it's only like about 4.5%.
Yeah.
It's going to take time, but that time is now. The death of the dollar has already happened. It's dying. So here's the way we see it. Yes, the BRICS Plus is going to come up with their own currency, and they want it gold-based, because you're also seeing that last year, central banks bought more gold than ever before. In the first quarter of this year, 2023, they bought 155% more gold than they bought at the first quarter of last year. So they all know that the currencies are nothing more than digital currencies already backed by nothing and printed on nothing. They printed countless trillions of dollars to fight the COVID war, making this stuff up. And zero and negative interest rates, plus. Yeah. So the currencies aren't worth anything. So when they come up with a new currency that's backed by gold, all that is going to do is to repeat what history has been since recorded time, that currencies are backed by silver and gold. They only made up this other crap going back to 1971, when the United States took the dollar off the gold standard.
Yeah.
It's only, 1971. So now that's ending, because the world is, when you talk about the BRICS, they're tired of the United States hegemony, whether it's on the socioeconomic front or the geopolitical front. They've had enough.
Yeah. No, that's it. Now, the Trends Journal is an incredible source of information predicting what we are looking at around the world. Now, I use this information that you put out as a navigation tool to literally prepare and position myself, as well as warning people of impending danger as well. Now, the sad part is that it takes a certain level of intelligence to understand this and connect the dots and heed the warnings. And in the world we live in now, many people are so dead between the ears, they can never grasp what is going on. is one of the major divides that we see in the world, one where a majority group of people have to be told what to think versus those who can think for themselves. I mean, it's something that can't be changed. Is it just that people are too indoctrinated to the system that we're never going to see this alter within our time without, unfortunately, a lot of people disappearing, and it's left to the likes of us to create a far better world moving forward?
It's been going on since the beginning of time. What's your favorite war? You like the Peloponnesian War? No, I like the 100-Year War. Now, the War of the Roses, isn't that a lovely name to have for a war? Yeah, I mean, it's been going on forever. You know, Napoleon's march to Moscow, 1812, left with 420,000 troops, 420,000 troops, young guys that believe the crap of a little clown dressed in military drag. Leaves Poland with 420,000, comes back with 10,000. Yeah. You mean 410,000 young guys died for nothing? Of course they did. How about, I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy, a Yankee Doodle do or die. Yankee Doodle do or die? Oh, you mean World War I? A war between the nobility that they dragged us into for nothing?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we got to get rid of that guy, Saddam Hussein. He has weapons of mass destruction and ties to Al Qaeda. Look at the people. 88% of the American people swallowed the bullshit spewing out of a little boy, George W. Bush. My daddy was president. Oh, my granddaddy was Prescott Bush that did deals with Hitler. Oh, that little clown jerk born on third base and thought he had a home run. We're going to get that guy Osama bin Laden. Get her alive. 88% of the American people swallow the crap spewing out of that little boy's mouth. It's been going on forever.
Yeah.
But here's the bottom line. It does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority, keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men, said Samuel Adams, one of the founding fathers of America. Your audience, my audience, subscribers to the Trends Journal are that irate, tireless minority. This is a time to reverse the course because you know what? We're fighting nobodies. They're little nobodies. Who's your favorite nobody? Biden? No, I like Trump. How about little Gatson Macron, the guy with the fake hair, the Rothschild's boy? A little nothing. Look at the little clowns that are running America. Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, Peter Schiff. Or not Peter Schiff, Adam Schiff. I like Peter Schiff.
Peter's all right.
Dianne Not-So-Feinstein, Nancy Pelosi, one little Chucky Schumer, one little clown telling us what to do. So when I say that irate, tireless minority, you call these people out man to man. They don't know whether to piss or shit. They fall. Don't you talk to me like that. Hey, don't you talk to me like that. You got it backwards, Jack. You're a public servant. Get this in your head. You do what I tell you to do. Who the hell are you? That's that irate, tireless minority, and that's what has to happen. And it has to happen in a peaceful, forceful way to change this. Because if we don't change it, it's going to be the end of life on Earth because these clowns are ramping up the Ukraine war that is now talking more and more about a nuclear exchange.
Yeah, no, that's it. Now, over the years, you have called a lot of people out, exposed a lot of things that have gone on. We become the fly in the ointment. Have you ever been attacked for what you do by people trying to stop what you're saying? Has there been infiltration from those that would rather not you speak out against the system that is so, yeah?
Of course, I get blacklisted on, shadow banned and on. Matter of fact, I had a rally here on May 27th up in Kingston, New York, on the Four Corners of Freedom. the
Yeah.
most historic four corners in America, with pre-Revolutionary War stone buildings, the only place on each corner, which I own 3. And we had it in the yard of the big, beautiful garden of the Crown Garden of the 1750s Franz Rogan House. Big sign out in front about the rally, Make America Healthy Again. Rally started at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern time. I'm walking out there at 12:30, and there's a guy standing out in front of the sign as people are packing into the place, yelling out, "Celente's nothing more than a Putin puppet." And so I go running towards him, and I use the proper language. It's situational language. There's proper language in different situations. And I call this guy out. He sees me coming. He runs across the street. I said, "You come over here and talk to me like that, you little," and I use the proper language. This little boy, the guy in his 30s, kept screaming at me and going the other way. "You come over here and talk to me like that, you little," kept going away.
Yeah.
Here I am, a guy 76 years old, calling out this guy, and he doesn't have the balls to come over here and face me man to man. Then he comes down the street about 5 minutes later and yells out of his car, "F you, Celente." I went running after him, and he ran through the stop sign. Yeah. So when I say you call these men out, these little boys with big mouths and no balls, man to man, they don't know whether to piss or shit. And that's what people have to understand.
Yeah.
We are in the fight for our lives. Oh, you like them stealing your money to get to the military-industrial complex and to all his friends? Oh, we're giving $800 million to XYZ company because they're going to open up a plant over here and they're going to create jobs. What the hell are you talking to? Once upon a time, there was this guy by the name of Benito Mussolini. Fascist. Look up the definition. The merger of state and corporate powers. Got it? Got it? Fascists are running our lives.
Yeah.
Look what they did with the COVID war when they locked down everything. Oh, the billionaires, according to Oxfam, only got $27 trillion richer in 2 years. As the plantation workers of Slavelandia get poorer. The bigs own everything. It's fascism.
Yeah, it is. It's insane. Now, you always mention that the business of the US is war and the business of China is business. We've seen a trade war continuing between them for a long time now, and China have become the global supplier. Now, in doing so, industry in all the other nations has declined, and the economies have divided, leaving people with no income, and the cost of living has skyrocketed. But have China damaged their own economy by creating a situation where the customers cannot afford to buy their goods in bulk anymore?
China destroyed itself. I mean, China, our forecast was the 20th century was the American century, and the 21st century would be the Chinese century, because the business of America has been war and the business of China business. What China did by launching the COVID war and their zero COVID policy has destroyed their economy.
Yeah.
Everybody got to get this straight. Again, tracking trends is an understanding of where we are and how we got here to see where we're going. So let's go to China. Let's look at China's gross domestic product from like 1970 to 2001. It's a line like this. Bill Clinton brings them into the World Trade Organization and their GDP skyrockets. As their GDP skyrockets, because all of the companies went to China to get slave labor, they also brought them all the technology, whether it's heavy industry or high tech, that China didn't have. The deal was, yeah, you got to open up over here, but you only can own 49% of the companies. So China had this boom.
Yeah.
A housing boom that was unprecedented, building out their infrastructure. When you have a boom like that, there's always a bust that follows. It can't keep going up like that. but the money junkies keep on making more money. So they kept building it up, and overbuilt it. So now China destroyed it. Rather than it coming down slowly, it's coming down quick because of the 3 years of zero COVID policy. They destroyed tens of millions of businesses. Tens of millions. Remember, this is a country, what, 1.4 billion people?
Yeah.
And they locked it down for all of those years. Now, let's go back to the why they locked it down. I used to be on Hong Kong TV in 2019. I'm on for like 20 minutes on the top stations. We take a break. I'd say to the guys, so listen, tell me what's going on over there. Mr. Celente, we're not going to stop protesting. This is Hong Kong, 7.5 million people, and over a million people taking to the streets. China launches the COVID war on Chinese Lunar New Year, 2020, January, the year of the rat. Lockdown Shanghai, lockdown Yuan, lockdown this, lockdown that. Oh, we're locking down Hong Kong. And we're passing a security law, blah, 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 blah. Can't go out to the street. Finished. By the way, very important. Again, tracking trends is the understanding of where we are, how we got here, and where we're going. You go back to 2019. Germany was that far away from going into a recession. There were protests going on all over the world.
Yeah.
In South Africa, in Algeria, in Colombia, in Chile, in Peru, all over Lebanon, all over the world, people taking to the streets because of lack of basic living standards. Government corruption, crime, and violence. This is 2019, before the COVID war.
Yeah.
Now they all joined the COVID war. You can't go out in the street and protest anymore. Get back in your house. Get back in your house. So what I'm saying to you is this thing was crashing on the socioeconomic and geopolitical front before the COVID war. Now the COVID war has made a bad situation very worse by all the lockdowns. So going back to China. You look at the numbers coming out in China, which is with its manufacturing, with its exports. One after another, the numbers are going down because there's a global slowdown happening. So it's going to take China years to recover from this. That's if we're not all annihilated off the face of the earth with a nuclear war, which is very probable.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a time for recovery. So China is not going to take over for a number of years now because of what they've done to themselves. Because we are going to go into the worst socioeconomic decline in modern history.
Yeah.
It's on the doorstep. It's happening now.
Yeah, it's absolutely destructive. And, you know, when we've spoke to Greg as well, Gregory Manarino, you know, he echoes exactly what you're saying. You know, this destruction that's going to come from this collapse is like nothing people have ever seen in world history.
No.
Yeah. So working from home has been the trend throughout the pandemic. And now the offices and workspaces, they remain empty with so much commercial real estate now, seeing no return of the tenants that were once in there. What will this mean for the economy itself? Is this a major thing that can affect it moving forward?
We reported this. We had forecast this when the COVID war began in March of 2020. It began in January, but it escalated in March. Think about it. You're commuting back and forth to work an hour and a half each way. Now you're forced to stay home. And now you're working from home. Now, instead of waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you're getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning. And you're saying to yourself, holy Christ, I'm getting up, commuting all this time, sucking my life out of me. I'm not going to do this anymore. And I don't have to.
Yeah.
I'm living in a stupid little cubicle in this huge joint over there. Now, I'm your boss. I'm running the company. and I got 10 floors in an office building. And I'm saying to myself, what the hell I got 10 floors over here for? Yeah, stay at home a couple of days a week. I only need 6 floors or 5 floors or 3 floors or 2 floors. I don't need all these floors. Why am I paying all this rent? Your office vacancy rate, meaning nobody in them, 30% in San Francisco. Oh, and it was the geeks, the San Francisco geeks that started the COVID war in America. The Twitter guys, stay home, stay home, stay home, stay home. Oh, our business boomed too because people aren't going out and they're staying home and they're going online and buying and doing everything. 30% vacancy rate in Los Angeles. 20% office vacancy rate in New York City. Your office occupancy rate, meaning people going back to work, in the 10 largest cities in the United States is 49.6%, according to Castle Systems. All the businesses that depended on commuters, but going out of business. Is it going to hurt? Let's go back to the offices. We had the Silicon Valley, First Republic, the 3 banks failing. Those 3 failures had more lost dollar volume than the panic of 08 when 25 banks failed. 3, worse than 25. Now let's go to, hey, I can't pay my loan on this office. What do you mean you can't pay it? I'm the bank. I need your money. Not, man, I don't have the money coming in. I can't pay. We're defaulting on it. Mm-hmm. You're going to see defaults like you've never seen before. We're going to see a banking crisis we've never seen before. These are the facts. The media has ignored this. We've been talking about it for 3 years. Matter of fact, we said this year, one of our top trends for 2023, they'll finally realize office building bust and the implications. And now they're just starting to talk about it. This is huge. It's huge. Oh, I forgot. One more thing. Hey, they kept raising interest rates, right? Yeah. Oh, now I have floating loans on my these interest-only loans that I have because I'm a big commercial real estate developer. I'm only paying interest only. Oh, now the interest rates are going up. And now you have to pay more on your loan. And you have less money coming in? This isn't rocket science to figure this one out.
No.
This is going to bring down the banking system like we've never seen before. But don't worry about it. The bigs will get bigger when it's all over. And it'll be in more and more control. Because most of the loans are in small and medium-sized banks. And they don't have the money to cover it because they bought the treasuries when interest rates were down near 0. So they don't have any dough to cover their losses. So the JP Morgan Chases will get bigger. The UBSs will get bigger. The bigs will get bigger.
Yeah.
But this is going to crash the global economy. And this is only not in America. It's all over the world where less and less people are going back to work.
Yeah.
Office buildings.
Yeah. Now, this debt ceiling bollocks has played out yet again in the same manner, and the politicians are now patting each other on the back, and the people are so happy to be saddled with a further $4 trillion. You know, this is now put on the backs of their children.
Yep.
As long as there's no disaster to stop this. How long can they kick this can down the road until it just doesn't work anymore?
They'll do anything. Do you ask a murderer to stop murdering people? They don't do it until they get caught and they can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what all it's about. They're a crime syndicate that people call a government. Here, once upon a time, it was one of the covers of the Trends Journal going back to 2012. There was somebody by the name of Jesus Christ that chased the money changers out of the temple. I mean, what are we going back? How many thousand years ago?
Yeah.
They're the same money changers. They just changed the names. Now it's, it's Bank of America. It's Wells Fargo. It's, again, what happened to Credit Suisse? Yeah, I mean, nothing has changed. They'll keep doing it until they can't get away with it anymore.
Yeah.
And they'll keep up, I was wrong. I had forecast an economic collapse in 2012. I thought it would happen.
Yeah.
He didn't teach me about negative and zero interest rate policy or a thing called quantitative easing in Economics 101 or in graduate school. They made up this crap. So you don't know when it's going to end.
Yeah.
But the end is near.
Yeah. No, definitely. You're backing RFK Jr. in his presidential bid. I mean, I like the guy and what he's done for the likes of the Children's Defense League. But in all honesty, when somebody reaches these positions of president or prime minister, they're usually handled by those that oversee the position, the whisperers and the whips that keep them in line. You know, the ones in the past that have tried, including relatives of the Kennedy family, met an abrupt demise. Can this man make a difference? And will he be able to make the changes he wants without suffering the common denominator here?
Absolutely. But will they kill him? What did RFK Jr. say about 3 weeks ago? The CIA killed my father. The CIA killed my uncle. It's out of his mouth.
Yeah.
As you know, I had a peace and freedom rally here, as I mentioned, you know, on May 27th. One of the speakers was Dennis Kucinich. Dennis Kucinich, former congressman, is RFK Jr.'s national campaign manager.
Yeah.
And I want to have RFK Jr. up here. He said, we can't put him outside. We're very concerned.
Right.
If we do it, we have to do it indoors. Yeah, the reality is they'll kill him.
Yeah.
Think about it. Think about it. Everybody listening, think about this. As a young kid, you're playing in the White House with your uncle, who's the president of the United States. Boom, he's assassinated. As a young kid, your father, who's on the way of becoming the president of the United States, is assassinated. What kind of person would you be? How would your heart and mind be different than everyone else and what you feel and say? You're a unique individual. You're the only person on earth who's gone through this. And now you're a man approaching the end of your life. You're 69 years old. You don't have a lot of years left. So if he gets into office, considering the people that are behind him, like Kucinich, who was totally opposed to the wars, totally fought against them. No, you got a crew in there that aren't going to take orders from anybody. Will they kill him? They'll do everything they can to destroy him.
Yeah.
And they may destroy him before he becomes president. And you might start seeing a lot of, you know, propaganda coming out against him. You know, he raped a girl when he was 17 years old, you know. Again, people like, you know, when they try to criticize me, I say, I want to make this clear. I've never raised my hand to a woman in my life, unless she wanted to be spanked. Just take it easy. I mean, you know, what you did when you were a kid. Come on, what are you talking about here? So they're going to do that kind of stupid stuff. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, I lived the perfect life, you know. I was a Catholic priest. I only screwed a bunch of little boys up here. Oh, no, wait, I forgot about that. You know, what are you talking about?
Yeah. I mean, the CIA, I mean, their involvement with the JFK assassination is, you know, public knowledge now, but there was never any arrests in regards to this. But there was a man as well that was speaking out against this that not many people know about. What can you tell us about John Connolly?
John Connolly was the governor of Texas that sat in front of Kennedy when he was assassinated on November 22nd, 1963. I have a photograph of me and John Connolly and his wife, Nellie. We're in front of the book depository where Kennedy allegedly got shot at.
Yeah.
And It was their first time back since the assassination.
Wow.
Connolly wanted to meet me because my book, Trend Tracking, 1989, far better than Megatrends, Time Magazine. I had forecast a new third party and someone like Ross Perot would be the candidate. And it happened. That's why Connolly wanted to meet me. This is 2 weeks before the 1992 presidential election. As we're walking back into the Anatole Hotel, I'm making a very long story short, Connolly said to me, I read your book, and it's a fine piece of work, and I know your heart's in the right place. He said, but you don't have a clue what's going on, and neither do the American people. Because if they did, there'd be a revolution in this country. Yeah. This is 1992. This is the John Connolly that sat in front of Kennedy, that took the bullet in his back, that almost died, went through his lungs, through his hand, through his knee, right? That John Connolly.
Yeah.
This is the same John Connolly that became the Treasury Secretary under Richard Nixon, a Republican, that took the United States off the gold standard.
Yeah. Oh, it's
yeah.
Yes.
So what Connolly said back then, if you thought it was bad back then, look at it now. It's 1,000 times worse. The way our freedom has been robbed from us, the destructions that the central banks and the governments have created, the escalation to a nuclear war. Remember RFK Jr., right?
Yeah.
His uncle, JFK. Read his 1963 speech, June, to the graduating students at American University.
Yeah.
Where JFK warns that if war breaks out between the Soviet Union, who he said we should not hate, these people suffered more than anybody in World War II.
Yes.
They're culturally and scientifically advanced people. They're good people. We shouldn't hate them. If war breaks out between our two countries, life on Earth will end in 24 hours. That's 1963. Think of how nuclear aggression and explosions have escalated since then. The ability of that will be wiped out in seconds.
Yeah, it is.
So going back to Connolly, Connolly knew how bad it was, and now it's much, much worse.
Yeah, that's it. We're facing something like we've never, ever seen before. It's quite scary. Now, there's nothing like the Trends Journal and its ability to produce quality predictions. And, you know, it's absolutely incredible. But one day, somebody else will have to continue the legacy that you've created here. Are you training people for this role, or are you expecting it not to be required in the future?
No, I'm training people. Yeah, we had some great people behind us. You know, we have great writers. They're very passionate about it. And no, you know, it's think about it. Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Cambridge, Oxford. Nobody teaches trend forecasting. Nobody. No. Yeah, you could get a degree in history. Okay, great. But
their history.
How about what's going to happen about the current? No, we don't teach that. There's no trends in the news. Yeah. Doesn't exist. They don't know how to do it. No, I'm training people, doing the best that we can. And, you know, I only could do so much. And again, if we had the money behind us, if we had the billionaires like Musk's or the others putting money into this, we'd make it happen at a much grander level. Yeah. We don't have that support, and that's why we need the support of the people. Because the more subscribers we get, the more we can do, and we want to keep this going. Yeah. All our writers are totally passionate about what we're doing, and they've come from working for the biggest of the major media, some of them. Yeah. So they know how bad the major media is, and that's why they love what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, you can't help but be passionate when it feels so right on the soul when you're doing this kind of work. There's nothing there's nothing more rewarding. I fully understand why they're doing it. So
people ask me, they say, what about your legacy? I say, what damn I care about what people think of me after I die. I don't care what they think of me when I'm alive. I'm only doing, I'm a human being. I'm trying to do the best that I can. Do I screw up here? Of course I do. Yeah. But I'm trying to do the best that I can. It's not about when you're dead. It's about when you're alive. And so my advice to everybody is get in the best shape you can, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, because you're in the fight for your life. Yeah, and when you said before about how today so many of the people just follow and swallow the crap that's being fed to them, it's been going on forever.
Yeah.
It's time for a renaissance. And I'm saying this first because it just hit me. RFK Jr. could bring us the Renaissance.
Yeah.
He could bring us the Renaissance. Ale Romana alla Antica, in the manner of the Romans and the ancients, or what they said when they were creating the beauty during the Renaissance. They wanted to bring the beauty of the past back into the present and the future.
Yeah.
And we need a renaissance. We have to get rid of this high-tech, this artificial intelligence is as good as artificial flavors, artificial colors, and artificial ingredients. We have to go back to the soul and the passion of the people. The sounds of music being created by the people. The art created by the human, not a chat.
Yeah.
And we need a renaissance. And RFK Jr. could bring us that renaissance. The people are ready for it.
Yes.
We have to bring back the spirit of life, because without it, we're dead.
That's
Again, they misspelt it in the King James Bible when they said, the meek shall inherit the earth. The little geeks have inherited the earth. A little geek like Zuckerberg. Look at this little clown boy, the Dorseys.
Yeah.
How could you look up to these people? The Cooks, the Peach Eyes. How about men for passion of life, the emotional feeling of the spirit? Shove your artificial shit up your ass. Got it?
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
the way I feel about it.
I agree with you totally. Now, when the US dollar hyperinflates because of its diminished value and faith in it is all lost, do all stocks, bonds, pensions, ETFs, including paper gold and silver, drop to a near zero in terms of the purchasing power because they are only redeemable in that currency?
Absolutely. When it crashes, it's going to crash terribly.
Yeah.
It'll be a wipeout. It's happening.
No, it's
again. The only reason the dollar is strong is because of high interest rates. End of story. They're going to be lowering interest rates. The lower interest rates fall, the deeper the dollar declines. And that's going to be the beginning of the real death of the dollar. Gold prices are going to skyrocket along with silver.
Good.
People are going to be looking for this safe haven. And there's no other better, to me, again, the motto of the Trends Journal is think for yourself. There's no better safe haven asset, in my belief, than gold and silver.
Yeah.
It's only been around since the beginning of time as they recorded it.
Yeah. And
it's not going away. And again, don't believe me. Look at the central bank's purchasing of gold in the last year. Yeah. So, it's going to crash when the dollar goes down, and the dollar is going to go down when interest rates go down. And they're going to lower interest rates in the run up to the 2024 presidential reality show. They do it all the time. They always lower interest rates before the presidential elections to artificially boost up the economy.
Yeah. That's crazy. Now, is New York going to be a safe place to remain during a financial and societal collapse? And do you have a plan B to protect yourself?
Oh, my plan A is GC's 3Gs, guns, gold, and a getaway plan. No, yeah, New York City is going to be places that are good, places that are bad. It's just going to be more places that are bad. And that's why you look at the number of people that have moved out of New York City. And we're up here in Kingston, New York, according to Bloomberg, when they started leaving, of 181 cities, more people percentage-wise moved up here than anywhere else.
Yeah.
And it's going to continue like that. And it's going to happen in all major cities because of the office vacancy rates and the office occupancy rates. Businesses are going to go out of business. As I said, as I said, when the COVID war began, when people lose everything and have nothing left to lose, they lose it.
Yeah.
And they've lost it. Look at the crime rates. This wasn't happening before. When young guys are going into stores and robbing things in mass. You go into the chain stores now, you can't get a toothbrush without asking the people to unlock the thing so they can get your toothbrush. This wasn't like this before.
No.
Suicide rates weren't like this before. Drug overdoses weren't like this before. So the damage that is caused is incalculable. And that's why I'm saying, to me, the only thing that can reverse this is a renaissance. The Renaissance followed the Black Plague. The people in Europe got it in their heads that they were killing themselves with the filth and sanitation and the way they were living.
Yeah.
That's why they went back to the past. And to me, that's the only way to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Now, a mutual friend of ours, Dennis Janssen, wrote in his book, The Totalitarian Two-Step, that the Nobel Piece of Crap Prize was given to President Obama, even though in 2016 alone, the United States dropped 26,171 bombs, 12,000 in Syria, 12,000 in Iraq, 500 in Libya, 1,300 in Afghanistan, 35 in Yemen, 14 in Somalia, and for some reason, 3 in Pakistan. The US, since 1776, have been in a perpetual war for 93% of the time. Does this make the US the most evil of any of the developed countries in the world?
Among them. Yeah, look what they did to the Native Americans.
Yeah.
Look how they slaughtered all of them. And they violated every agreement that they made with them. You don't have to go overseas. Look what that clown Abraham Lincoln did. Killed 750,000 people with the Civil War. Had nothing to do with slavery. Read the book, The Real President Lincoln, by the guy Leon, I think is his last name.
Yeah.
Lincoln was pro-slavery. It was only about the federal government becoming stronger and robbing the states of states' rights.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's a war mentality. But again, you have the ones that don't want war either. And they're the ones that are wiped out. So again, I believe the only way to the future is peace.
Yeah, definitely.
And we have the people that are running and ruining our lives are mentally ill, demonic, satanic people. By their deeds, you shall know them. You just gave the numbers of the war. And then again, go to, again, not only America, look at Europe has been in constant war for how many centuries?
Yeah.
What was your favorite crusade? You like the first crusade or the 17th? I mean, look at the wars going on all over.
Yeah.
Again, there's no profession. Look, where are the religions speaking about peace right now? Where are the Episcopalians? Where are the Presbyterians? Where are the Baptists? Where are the Catholics? Where are the Jews? Where are, how dare you say Jews, you anti-Semite? Stop the crap, right? As I say, don't call me an anti-Semite. 3 of my last 4 girlfriends were Jewish. All my Jewish friends are totally opposed to what Israel is doing.
Yeah.
Totally opposed to it. The apartheid state, according to human rights, according to the one after another. So anyway, where are the religions coming out against war? I don't hear a peep.
No.
I don't hear a peep from the Pope.
No. They'd rather be back in the latest trends of whatever support and cause it is, the LBGTQ or whatever. Yeah. You know, they want to be seen to be fitting in with the people. Maybe they need more people to come to church and sit down and really don't understand the mentality of why they would go along with something which is, you know, demonizing children, something which is absolutely destroying society, you know, by design. It's probably one of the biggest divide and conquer campaigns I've ever seen in my life.
Yep. We reached out to peace organizations, religious peace organizations, to help us support our Occupy Peace rally.
Yeah.
Zero help. None of them showed up. No money. You know, this cost a lot of money to put these on. We're a small operation. Yeah. We don't have the big money behind us. Nothing about it. Oh, and they profess to be peaceful. You know, they're not. Again, this has been going. If we don't change it now, it's going to be the end of life on Earth. World War III has already begun. Yeah. It's already begun. Oh, the United States just announced the UK, or the FUCK, whatever, you know, the United States just announced another, I think, $2 billion more to keep bloodying the killing fields in Ukraine.
It's absolutely insane. I put a post up yesterday, actually. That his own personal wealth of Zelensky is, since his term started in 2019, he has amassed a personal wealth of 850 million. And I kind of calculated it. It was something close to over $500,000 a day this man has made since he's been in this position. Yet here he is asking for more and more money to come in from all countries around the world. And nobody's questioning this. Not one person is saying, how can this man grow so rich? And how can so many countries be funding this war? I wish people would wake up to the absolute insanity that is going on. It's so blatantly obvious to so many. But as we said before, people don't care. They just want to watch the hockey and the soccer and the football and whatever on the TV. Yep.
My father, may rest in peace, used to say to me when I get upset, he says, son, take it easy. People have little minds.
Yeah. And he was right.
Yeah. You know, absolutely. So it's again, but it's that irate, tireless minority that, you know, we really have to look at here to change it. And it can be changed because, as I said, you call these guys out man to man, they fold like that.
Yeah.
You know, and we could change it. And again, to me, RFK Jr. is the guy that I forecast he will be president, and it's in writing, black and white, that he's going to win, minus a wild card.
Yeah.
Again, I'm a data guy. The polls show that people don't want Trump or Biden, and particularly the young people.
Yeah.
And the issues that Kennedy's hitting on, immigration, war, the bigs taking over, those are both right and left. You know, he's bringing in both sides. So I think that he has the best shot. And again, to me, a renaissance is the only thing that could change it. We have to rise to a higher level.
Absolutely. There is one major thing that he's going to have to deal with. I spoke with Ava Chen a couple of days ago, in which she explained the size of the infiltration into not only the United Nations, but the governments around the world, mainly the US government, and, you know, all celebrity figures there, by the Chinese Communist Party. I mean, how much of a danger do you see this being? And is the likes of RFK got a real war on his hand to remove this communist infiltration into so many parts of our lives?
You know, it's a, you know, we have to see what will happen. You know, again, the people are ready for a change.
Oh, yes.
And they're dying for it. I've been at this a lot of years, and I've never seen. And by the way, the Trends Journal was the first magazine to call Trump a winner in May of 2016, when all the polls said he would lose.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is the people are ready for something else. And if we get the right person, then it'll change the whole direction.
Yeah.
Let China do what the hell China wants. It's none of our business. This what's going on between China and Taiwan was going on, what, since the Ming Dynasty?
Mm-hmm.
And the entire world says that that Taiwan is part of China. And how did Taiwan become Taiwan? When I was a kid, they called it Formosa. Oh, you mean when the Mao Revolution happened, Chiang Kai-shek took the people and they went to Taiwan over there? I got to fight about this stuff. What do I care about this? And again, you're mentioning the craziness of what's going on and the lunacy of it. I mean, look at the lunacy of the COVID war. What was the first thing that people did when they got frightened?
Yeah.
They went out and bought toilet paper. They went out and bought toilet paper. They fought each other to get rolls of toilet paper. Like the only way to clean your ass is with toilet paper? Oh, yeah. They've been using it since the Peloponnesian. No, before that, the ancients were using toilet paper, Scott toilet paper. And they didn't clean themselves in a... No. They only used toilet paper.
Yeah, obviously nobody ever needed a shit in the middle of the woods.
No. They only had toilet paper. So what I'm saying to you is look at the reaction of the people. They'll follow anything, and they'll follow another way is the same way.
Yeah.
They'll follow good and they'll follow bad. But you have to get the message out. And who's ever the president can get that message out for the good.
Yeah.
And it'll change everything.
Out of all your trends predictions, which is the most important in your opinion?
It's the most important, is, and again, it's they coined the term, I coined the term clean food back in New York Times did an article back in 1993. And that to me is probably the most important. Because like you said, the people have to get in the best shape they can, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And if you're not in the best shape, nothing else counts. And when they talk about climate change and all these other things, climate change? Oh, you like those forever chemicals that are in everywhere? I know. You love all those microplastics in your body.
Yeah.
Oh, you love breathing in the filthy air. You love GMOs. You love pesticides and insecticides. So to me, clean food is the most important. The better health you're in, the better way you're going to think. And go back to again, 42% of the American people are obese.
Yeah.
70% are overweight. If you're in that kind of shape, your head's not in the best shape.
No.
So you got to be in the best shape so your head gets in the best shape. And again, I want to make this clear. I pull, stupid crap from time to time. Damn it, why did I do that? I'm a human being, and I want to, every day I say, please help me be a better person. Help me learn more. Help me do more. And that's what everybody, by the way, do something positive every day to help somebody in any way you can. And to help. Again, if you want to help occupy peace, because the more money we get, the more we do, please do that. But do something positive every day. And again, to me, the bottom line is yourself. And the stronger you get physically, emotionally, and spiritually, the higher that we all rise. Yeah. Because we're in it together.
We're seeing the infiltration around the world by Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum. He's already got Castro's son well under his thumb in Canada there, with Justin Trudeau. Is there any way that you see moving forward that the stronghold and the infiltration they have had through global governance can be removed? Is there an easy way to do this? Can the
No.
people just literally say to the politicians that they're electing, right down to the local MEPs, that we do not want this. We do not want their agendas to be pushed forward and disrupt humanity in the way that it's doing, because to me, it looks very much like a further enslavement of people, and people just aren't waking up to it. They're buying the bullshit. They're going along with the whole climate change hoax, and people are losing their liberties and freedoms because they think they're actually doing a good thing for the world.
Let's go back for the, you mentioned Trudeau. A little daddy's boy up there in Canada, a little nobody if my daddy wasn't,
Yeah.
prime minister before me, a little arrogant nothing of a clown. And then you mentioned Klaus Schwab. Take a look at that guy. Take a look at him. You couldn't, to me, paint a more demonic looking evil person than him.
No.
How could anybody with a brain bigger than a pea swallow the crap coming out of that face's mouth? As I said, the bottom line is it's up to the people to change. That's the end of story. It's up to the people to change, and the people have to get, again, if you're not in the best shape you can be physically, emotionally, and spiritually, it's finished. The first book, by the way, I worked on was Natural Healing back in the 1980s.
Yeah.
It's a Warner book. I have an honorary doctorate from the National University of Health Sciences for the work I've done in complementary and integrative medicine. So I know a little bit about this.
Just a little bit.
And you have to be in the best shape you can. You think I want to work out every day? You think I don't want to eat more of this and more of that?
I know you love your food.
I'm just saying, you have to do it. So nothing, I'm telling you, nothing is going to change until the people change. Nothing. It's not worth talking about until that happens.
Yeah. But if the people don't change,
we go down.
Yeah, they're going to suffer the demise of their own ignorance, unfortunately. And I like to try and help people and put the message out as much as I can. I don't want to see people suffer. But part of me lately has got to a stage where I think it has to happen for us to be able to move forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's a sad part. We had the likes of Prince Philip when he was alive saying that these useless eaters need to go. I was saying to my wife the other day, I was horrified at the statements like that were made a while ago. And all of a sudden, my thinking has come round to the point that we can't get out of this. We can't progress and we can't move forward without this actually happening.
Again, I believe that if RFK Jr. becomes president, it could be a moment of enlightenment.
Yeah. Certainly could be a beacon to the rest of the world as well.
Yes. And that could be the beginning of a renaissance. And that, to me, is the only positive thing I see in the future. And it's a big positive.
Yeah.
Again, go to his Children's Defense Fund. This guy's an environmental lawyer. No, I mean, and by the way, they say he's, the climate change statement he made was, they said, Kucinich said that's inaccurate. And we talked about it. And look at Kennedy now. He's coming out against Gates and the others that are pushing the climate change. He said they're pushing this and not in the direction it needs to go.
Yeah.
It's not about just climate change. It's about all the poisons. This guy, he's fought for years to stop the pollution process that's been killing us.
Yes.
So again, it could be a positive direction to begin the renaissance.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to move to a higher level? You want to keep going down? I have a sister that I was in a nursing home. She's 8 years older than me. And every time I go visit her, she was in the best place, had a private room. She was dead. all the people, all drugged up. I
Yeah.
took her out of there in December, brought her up here. And I have someone taking care of her 24 hours a day. She's right around the block, one of my buildings. She's a totally different person. Totally different person. I sit her out in front of my building where my office is, and she watches people walk by, and she sees these things go by like this with purple hair. And she goes, oh, oh, oh. She hasn't seen people in 12 years. She's been in a nursing home. Can't believe what a freak show it looks like.
I bet you that's quite the culture shock for her. Yeah.
I'm telling you. She can't believe what she sees.
No, I can't believe what I see. I'm seeing it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You go back, everybody go back, look at the images. Go back to height of the Great Depression in America, 1938. Put ballrooms when they had big bands. Look at the way the people are dressed. Go back to the when the stock market crashed, and then years later, a number of years later, they had, when FDR came in, they called a bank holiday. Isn't that a nice name? Holiday. We're going to steal your money. It's a holiday. Look at the people online trying to get their money. Look at the way they're dressed. Now go to the Silicon Valley bank bust.
Yeah.
And look at the way the people are dressed. Look at the way the people are dressed now, and look at the way the people were dressed during the Great Depression.
Yeah.
I have a photo of my parents' wedding, 1934. May their souls rest in peace. Matter of fact, I have it right here in my book, one of my books, when Zizzy gave Honey Boy. And my dad worked in a fish store. My mother was a secretary. My aunts worked in a factory, you know, one after another. They were all laborers, the men. I have a photo here. I'm going to show you a picture of night. Here it is. Can you see that?
Yeah. Everybody dressed, you know, very elegantly.
Laborers.
Yeah.
Worked in factories. 1934. The Gates, the Buffetts, the Bezos, the billionaires can't come close to what these people look like.
Yeah.
This was America. That was the spirit. Listen to the music. The Great Depression, uplifting music. Elegance. And now it's one bad rap.
Yeah. That's it. We're, you know, right now we're in Pride Month. I think people need to take a step back and have a look at themselves and think, what am I proud about? People need to take pride in their lives now. You know, the people need to take responsibility for where we are, because allowing everything to happen the way it has brought us to this moment in time. And the only way that we're going to change it is for people to start realizing where their moral values lie and create a world. Yeah.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't know if you saw our new t-shirt.
Now I like that. I do like that.
So you can get these by going to trendsjournal.com and hit our shop thing. And that's what we're doing. Who are you telling me what to do? Who are you telling me what? Get it in your head. You're a public servant. I tell you what to do.
Exactly. And that's it.
You know what I love? Every time these clowns go somewhere, the presidents and the prime ministers, they roll out a red carpet. What's this red carpet shit? And you got all these little boys dressed up in their military drag saluting. Yeah, a salute. I'll salute. What are you talking about?
Could you imagine somebody owning a business and doing that for their staff?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it is.
Yep.
You know, this is what it is. I come up with the idea a while ago, and I said, you know, we've got technology now, we've got the ability to make changes. Why don't we put the power back in people's hands? Everyone's walking around with a cell phone, smartphone, whatever.
Look, I don't carry a cell phone. I
Yeah.
did work for the cellular telecommunications industry going back to 1994 and been studying the frequency radiation.
Oh, yeah.
Again, not my data, official data from the University of California, Berkeley at the University of California. If you're on a cell phone for 17 minutes a day, for 10 years, your chance of getting a brain tumor only increased by 60%.
Only 60%.
Only 60. They were banning them in France because the brain shields of kids, they were banning from kids for years.
Yeah.
Because it was going, it's finished. Again, I don't carry one. I only have an old flip phone when I travel. So when the cop could pick me up when I went at the airport, and when, I don't carry one.
Yeah.
And then the 5G is killing us as well.
Yeah.
And on and on and on. So again, it's up to the people to change. If the people don't change, nothing's going to change. End of story.
That's it. And I suggested, you know, could you imagine the power people could take back if there was a government app or something, even online, computers, whatever, where people, rather than sit down and watch the garbage they digest on Netflix or whatever every night, they actually sit down, look at the app, open the computer, and see what bills and what they're trying to pass the next day. And the people actually get the vote on the people they employ, whether the people want this or not.
Well, one of my, writing about it for years, is, to me, direct democracy.
Yeah.
Switzerland hasn't. They haven't been in a war since what, 1850?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and everybody got guns, by the way. They're not killing each other. So direct democracy, you want to go to war, let the people vote. That's one of the programs of Occupy Peace.
Yeah.
You want to pass this bill, that bill that affects me, let the people vote. Direct democracy, we could do it online, very simple like that. But if I could vote online now, because all my ballots are now, everything is high tech, I could vote online. So direct democracy to me is the answer.
Yeah. So we're going to wrap this up now. This has been, again, an absolutely incredible interview. I really do appreciate you coming on. Two things. If there's one thing right now, a message that you want to give to the people watching this, the people around the world, that is probably the most important message you could give, what is that?
Put your money where your heart and mind is. You better start loosening up and fighting. And it can't be done without you.
Absolutely.
End of story.
Yeah.
It's up to you to make the change. And again, I keep saying over and 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 over again, it does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority, keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men, said Samuel Adams, one of the founding fathers. The American Revolution began, less than 5% of the people were for it. At the height of it, less than 50% of the people were for it. So it's up to us, irate, tireless minority, to unite. And we're trying to unite the people under Occupy Peace and with the Trends Journal. So it's up to you to do something. Yeah. And again, as I said, and this is the most important thing, it's up to you to get in the best shape you can, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. The future's in your hands. Don't drop it. United we stand, divided we die. Yes. So we must unite. Yeah.
Yeah. People, become the change you want to see in the world. Absolutely.
And perfectly said. Become the change you want to see in the world. And it's the end of the story. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Gerald, where can people find your work? And, you know, tell people why. I know why I subscribe to the Trends Journal, but where can people find your work, and why should people subscribe to the Trends Journal?
Trendsjournal.com, trendsjournal.com. If you want to read history before it happens, it's the only magazine in the world. There's no trends in the news They don't, all they tell you is, you go back every year, you know, we put out the new trends for the coming year. All the media does, this is what happened in 2022. What do I care what happened? What's going to happen next? Well, we don't know, but we're going to tell you what happened. It's the only magazine in the world. It's the only news source in the world that gives you in-depth geopolitical and socioeconomic trends analysis and trend forecasts. We tell you what's going on, what it means, what's next, and what you might want to do. We don't tell you what to do.
Yeah.
We give you our forecasts. And this is why we believe this. And it's up to you to think for yourself. And every week, there's no ads. There's no ads in the magazine. So nobody tells us what to do, unlike the media. They have all these drug ads and they keep selling the drugs. So we don't have, and it's only $2.86 a week. And it averages over 160 pages a week. And you can listen to it. It's on audio as well. And you don't have to read the whole thing. It's a magazine. You read what you want.
Yeah.
But we have information there you won't find anywhere else as far as trends analysis and trend forecasts. Nobody else does it.
No, absolutely. And I can vouch for that. Anybody watching the mainstream news and media, they're going to tell you what to think. If you start subscribing to the Trends Journal, you're going to find the ability to think for yourself.
Yep.
You're going to find the ability to learn and understand what is truly and really going on in the world around you. And I really recommend that people take this step forward and become everything that they can be. Thank you very much, Gerald. This has been, again, an absolute pleasure. And I hope people can learn from this. I hope people can share this and get it out there. And together we'll win this. We're going to make a difference. I know we are.
Absolutely. And talking about thinking for yourself, when I was a young guy, I'd be talking to my father about something and about what I'm listening to on the media. And he'd say to me in Italian, Papagallo, stop repeating what everybody else is saying and think for yourself.
Yeah.
And I realized that before I open my mouth up, I better have the facts.
Absolutely.
And that's what helped change my life.
Yeah. And as we say here, as we say here on the Atlantic Underground podcast, believe nothing and question everything.
Amen. And a women.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Gerald. It's been a pleasure. And I hope to speak to you soon. You take care, sir.
You too. Thank you very much for all that you do to enlighten the people in so many different ways.
And yourself. Thank you.